Thank you. Thank you for the reminder. Okay, so let's look at this one more time. All right. As I said, let's start with the expectation. As I told you, we are talking about he feel prefix form. Then we are going to have a verb, okay, strong verb. So must be coming with three root letters, and then verb conversive. And what do we expect? The prefix pronoun. Let's say yod.
요즈,
And then we expect he. Am I right? Prefix formative he. Then can you guess this? When the he is sandwiched by, you know, two different consonant sounds, then he tends to be missing because the he sound is not strong enough. So this is what we are going to see today. So even though we are dealing with the He stem, but if it is attached to a prefix form, then you cannot see the he. That's it. So that's a quite challenging because unlike other forms like a fixed form, imperative, even participle, they are taking something called preformative, he and mem. So they are good indicators. But in case of prefix form, we don't have preformative he. Why? Once again, he sound is not strong enough. But there is always a clue. What is it? You are going to see the specific vowel point. This is the time for us to remember this. The vowel point pata under the prefix pronoun indicates he feel stem. One more time. Pata under the prefix form indicates the he feel stem. I told you yesterday, pata tends to be related to the he feel stem. You will be able to recognize this. So just remember this, okay? But some of you may have some questions like, do you remember the missing root letter rules? And hirek or pata under the prefix pronoun normally indicate the possibility of what? What kind of missing letter rule?
First noon.
Third,
Third hair.
third he, right? And in case of first noon, we need to focus on assimilations. The dagesh porte. If you have only two remaining root letters after removing non-root letters like verb conversive and prefix pronoun, if you have only two, then you need to see if there is a dot, is assimilation in the first out of the three. I mean, two remaining root letters. Then that indicates first number. And if you don't have dagesh porte, and then what do you need to do? You need to check what kind of vowel point we have under the prefix pronoun. So tere indicates the first yod verb, missing little letter, and then kamet indicates hollow vowel, and what else? Anything other than tere and kamet indicates what? The third he verb, missing. Are you familiar with this? All right, it must be, it must not be new to you. All right, but any vowel point other than tere and kamet under the prefix pronoun indicates the third he verb. But normally there are two specific vowel points appearing for the third he. What are they? As I said, hirek and pata. So now I'm saying, okay, pata used to be understood as the indicator of third He verb, especially for missing letter rule. So now, look at this. What do we have? Pata. Can you see that? After removing the non-root letters like verb conversive and prefix pronoun, we have pata. But some of you can see that, oh, Pastor, we have only two, then we need to apply the idea of missing letter rule. So we have dagesh. Then it indicates what? First noon verb. So the missing letter rule still works in terms of first noon. But you need to pay attention to this specific vowel point under the prefix pronoun. So in this case, this one is a combination of two things. First number and then he feel prefix form. So this one is a weak verb. So I think it's not a good example, but we are going to deal with the most expected form of strong verb, he feel prefix form. But anyway, to tell you the conclusion today, I like to start with conclusion so that you will have just the core, the essence of the lessons that you will remember. Actually, Sharon asked me a lot of things yesterday, and then she mentioned that sometimes it's not easy for you to know what to remember and then what to ignore because there are a lot of information, and if you have to memorize everything, that's impossible. So when I just tell you the summary, like he feel stands for, comes with preformative he and hirek, tere, segol, composite shua, and those things will be quite helping and helpful for you. So today, if you have to remember the core of the lesson, then I'm going to say pata under the prefix pronoun. Then that indicates the he feel stem, especially for prefix form. Is that clear? Okay. So then that's it. If we have to analyze this one, then let's do this. As I said, this is the first numbab, and then this is nagat. What about stem? Pata under the prefix pronoun indicates he feel stem. Then you will be confused between the third he possibility together with he feel stem. Okay, but we will talk about it later. But anyway, this is he feel, and the form, praise the Lord, prefix form is the easiest one to recognize because of the presence of prefix pronoun, the yod prefix, and then the yod indicates what? 3M SG, as it is. And what else? Special feature, verb, conversive, and meaning. Don't forget to start with and when you have verb conversive. And 3M SG is he. And then what is the meaning of nagat in the he stem?
Declare.
Declare. Okay. So what about tense? Verb conversive? Past tense. Okay, that's it. Everything is what we are supposed to remember, except pata under the prefix pronoun for he stem. That's it. Okay, then let's move on. Who is the subject? Moshe. Moses. So, and Moses declared. What? Declare what? DDO. What is this?
Words.
Dibre. Dabar. But it is not taking dagesh in the middle. That's why it should be a noun. I told you before, if you are confused, then just to try to know if you have dagesh in the middle. If you have, then that's PL verb. If you don't, then that's noun. So tsereyo is a special bridge for connecting these two words and at the same time making the words plural. So that is the function. Okay. So then words of Ha'am, definite article, he, the, and then people. So then what is the translation? Moses declared the words of the people to the Lord. It sounds quite simple, and unlike what I said, it's harder than the lesson yesterday. But why did I tell you? Let's move on then. Okay, but anyway, that is the Hebrew prefix form. But we are going to talk about shortened forms and plural construct. Actually, plural construct is done because of this. So then the shortened forms is the key word that summarize what we're going to talk about. Let me move on. Do we have any questions so far? Okay. In Hebrew prefix, the preformative hair is dropped, as in the hair of the definite article with an inseparable preposition. For example, labite for lehabite. Okay, look at this. Actually, this is this is the expected one because as you can see, this is preposition and bite house, and it is coming together with definite article hair. But when the head sound is sandwiched by two sound, then hair cannot remain. Why? Because the sound is not strong. So what did happen? This one will be dropped, and then you are going to see the vowel points of the hair. So this is what is going on. So that is an example for the hair to be dropped, even in the form of prefix form for Hebrew stem. Because having the Hebrew stem, the preformative hair should be there. But it is disappearing. Why? Once again, it's a sandwich by two sound. So you cannot really expect. Look at this. In fact, this is what we are expecting. So pakat appearing prefix pronoun and then preformative he, but sandwiched by these two sound. Then what happens? This ha goes there, and then it ends up becoming the pata under the prefix pronoun. That's how it works. Okay. Let me tell you this. As I said, the prefix pronoun pata under the prefix pronoun indicates two things you need to remember. What are they? Number one, missing letter rule. The third, he, verb. And then most importantly, what is it?
He feel prefix.
He feel prefix. Then how are you going to see the difference between these two? Number one, this one is for missing letter, which means after removing non-root letters, you have only two, then that's the time for you to apply this idea. If you have three root letters and together with the prefix pronoun and the pata, then that must not be the clue for third hand missing letter rule. Are you following me? Because the root letters are there, all root letters. So having all three root letters and then prefix pronoun and pata, then that must be the indicator of what? He feel stand. Is that clear? So now you know how to see the difference between these two. Don't be confused. But today's one is quite confusing. Why? Because it comes with first number. Let's go back. Look at this. Come on. Look at this. After removing non-root letters, together with the prefix pronoun, we have only two remaining consonant. And at the same time, pata, then you are going to say, oh, then this one indicates the third hair. No, if you have dagesh protein, then always you need to prioritize it because that itself indicates already what? First nun verb. So if this one is first nun verb, there is no reason for us to have pata here. So this is the combination of two aspects in terms of grammar. Okay, first nun, missing letter ru, together with hifil. Okay, this is what you need to remember. But as once again, this is not a good example because. But anyway, we'll be able to deal with this. Okay, look at this. So this one becomes this. So this one is an explanation about why we don't have the preformative hair. So now do you understand why? Because the hair is dropped when it is sandwiched by two components of the consonant sound. And there is good news. Still, hiregyod as a secondary indicator works. So if you are confused and if you have hiregyod between the second and third, it's always good that, oh, then there is a great possibility of having the hip stem. Is that clear? So now, looking at this, you need to pay attention to number one, pata under the prefix pronoun, and then hiregyod between the second and third root letters, and they are all the important indicators of the hip feel stem. So diagnostics of hip feel strong verb, remember pata under the prefix pronoun, hirek plane between the second and third root letters in every form except 3 FPL and 2 FPL, except 3 FPL and 2 FPL. Why? Why for 3 FPL and 2 FPL? Can you recognize anything? What specific ending do they have? 3 FPL, 2 FPL. What specific ending do they have? Look at this. 3 FPL, 2 FPL, they end in na. What is special about this? In terms of the ending for prefix form, we always have vowel ending like hirek, yod, and u. Can you see this? Because the prefix form is characterized by the presence of prefix pronoun in the beginning. Yod, tap, 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 aleph, yod, tap, 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 nun. And then sometimes we do have special ending like E for 2 FSG and una, una. So can you see this? E is vowel sound, U is vowel sound, but na has consonant sound, unlike E, U. Somehow it affects the pronunciation of the word in that way. So there is a great change. So if you look at Hifil form, as I said, you can expect hirek yod, hirek yod, hirek yod. Okay, hirek yod, except this one, hirek yod, except this one, hirek yod. So just to understand, as if this na sounds affect the vowel system, causing the hirek plane disappearing. Okay, that's it. But 3 FPL and 2 FPL is not, they are not really commonly used in the Hebrew Bible, but sometimes they do appear. So it's good news that hirek, if you see hirek, then you can say, oh, that should be the indicator of Hebrew stem. Are you following me? But you cannot say that, oh, I cannot see hirek, then it cannot be Hebrew stem. It can be Hebrew stem. And this is what we are going to talk about. Because the normal expectation is like this. When it comes to 3 MSG, and most of PGN will take hirek yod, especially in the hip feel stem, without verb conversive. What I'm trying to say, okay, this prefix form, when they are attached to a verb conversive, then shortening will take place, especially hirek yod. So the hirek yod will be shortened to either hirek or tsere or sego when they are coming together with verb conversive. But without verb conversive, then it will come as it is. One more time, this is important. If you have verb conversive or without verb conversive, let's say just the prefix pronoun, let's say an yod or tav or aleph or nun, and you have patah, then you need to expect, oh, there must be hirek yod here, okay? But when this one comes together with verb conversive, then the sound is affected by the verb conversive. Then hearing yod will be shortened. And so you cannot see the yod, and then this one will be hirek or tsere or sego. Now, what do you need to remember? Let me just give you the important summary. If you are dealing with a prefix form together with patah under the prefix pronoun, okay, and see if you have one dot or two dot or three dots between the second and the third, then that's for sure. That is Hefil prefix form. Why? Hirek yod will be shortened together with verb conversive. Are you following me? So that if I have to just tell you what you need to remember, remember the patah under the prefix pronoun is the first important indicator of Hefil stem, and the secondary clue is what? 1, 2, 3. Okay? Between the second and third. Then that is confirmation for Hefil prefix form. Let me move on.
Sir, can I ask something?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when you say 1, 2, 3 dots, you mean hirek, sere, and sego then, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question. I think I'm going to give you the specific example for that. But always important for you to remember the 3FPL and 2FPL will not take hirek yod. So the idea of 1, 2, 3 will not work for 3FPL and 2FPL. This is just for your information, okay? Then let's look at this. I'm going to simply read. It's not new. The diagnostic of Hefil prefix first number, patah under the prefix pronoun, and the first root nun is going to be assimilated. The dagesh in the second root letter is an assimilation of the first root nun. Hirek plane can be found in every form except, once again, the 3FPL and 2FPL. Hefil characteristic and the shortened form. Okay, this is the important thing. The Hefil prefix can be recognized by patah under the prefix pronoun, hirek or tsere or sego between second and third root letters. It's a summary of what I have mentioned. Originally, look at this. Yagit is the Hefil prefix 3 MSG of nagat. Okay. However, when the verb conversive is attached to yagit, the hirek plane becomes tsere or sego. Look at this. This is an example. In fact, this is the prefix form in the Hefil stem with a verb conversive. But as I said, being the 3 MSG form, it must take hirek yod. Am I right? But when this one is attached to verb conversive, then this one is shortened. That's why hirek became tsere. So don't be curious about it. Just remember, okay, it's quite common when the expected form is attached to on another sound, then normally it affects the vowel system. So that's why you may have different vowel point from what you have memorized and understand. So that's it. Another example with other PGN. So this is for what? What PGN? Top in the beginning, prefix form. Yod, tap, aleph, yod, tap, nun. But for the plural top, then they must come with specific ending at the end.
This is
3
3
FSG
FSG and 2 MSG.
MSG. Yeah.
Yes, you're right. So this one has two possibility of two the PGN, but anyway, that is not point. But anyway, it can come with other prefix pronoun. So anyway, even 3F singular and then 2N singular must come with top in the beginning and then hirek yod in the Hebrew stem. So that's why we have hirek yod. But when this prefix form attached to verb conversive, then hirek yod will be shortened to sego. So see, sere and sego. So they are the indicators of secondary indicators. Yeah, that's it. Do you have any questions so far? Let me move on. So we don't have any problem. Root letter, nagat. Stem. What stem do we have today? Adele.
Oh,
Adele.
sorry, I better mute. Okay,
Yes,
I'm
yes, thank you. Stem.
Hipil.
Hifit. Why?
Under the yod pata.
Hata. Under the
Pata
yod.
and sere.
Right. One,
Sere.
2, 3. And between the second and third. That is secondary confirmation. So hifil. Form.
Prefix.
Prefix. PGN.
Prefix 3MSG.
3MSG. Special feature.
Verb conversive.
Verb
Conversive.
Meaning. And he
And he
declare. Or okay, yeah, just that will be okay. Let me move on. So the translation. And Moses told the words of the people to the Lord. So it is used together with the meaning of tell, which is a part of the meaning of nagat, but you can say declare is okay too. Then Moses told the words of the people to the Lord, NAS. So there is no really big difference. Wait a minute.
Doctor, I still don't see why hifil is different from the kal. I mean that, and he declared it sounds exactly like it would have been in kal. Does that make sense? My question.
Okay, Ethel, thank you for your question. I like your question. But do you remember even dealing with the specific stem of PL normally intensify the meaning. But remember, I don't say always. Okay, likewise, even dabar, it means to speak, but we cannot see any intensified meaning in the PL stem, right? So normally, generally speaking, the significance of changing the stem works that way. So each stem has its own purpose, but not all the time. Okay, so he feel is the same. It's causative. It's causing someone to do a specific action, but it's a general idea, but it's not always. So yeah, okay, is that clear?
Oh, makes sense now. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you for the question. Then let's talk about the shortened form. Then we are getting it's getting a little bit harder. The shortened forms with the verb conversive also run through the car. Okay, this shortening, hirek yod become what? hirek or tsere or sego when the prefix form comes together with verb conversive. That's the important thing. With the verb conversive, then the shortening will not take place. But this one works for the Hebrew stem in today's lesson. But what this slide is telling us about is this. This shortening is working or taking place not only for the Hebrew, but also for the ka. That's the point. So this is most evident in the second and third person singular of first yod verb, halo verb, and third he verbs. Okay, as an example, let's look at this. All right, we have first yod verb, yashav. And this yashav, and then the yod is not the first yod as a root letter, but it's a prefix pronoun. Okay, so now you can see that when a first yod verb is used together with a prefix form, then the yod will be dropped. And then we need to have missing letter rule vowel point, which is tsere, indicating the first yod missing. Are you following me? Are you following me? So we are supposed to have tsere, and then tsere here, and then the expected vowel point is tsere between the second and then third without verb conversive. But when this one is coming together with the verb conversive, then this second root letter is affected, and then it became sego. What does this mean? Shortening taking place. Are you following me? You don't need to memorize this, just to try to understand. What this slide is all about is shortening can take place when a prefix form is attached to verb conversive. Are you following me? So that is the expected phenomenon. Actually, when prefix form is coming together with a verb conversive, then normally it affects the vowel system, especially between the second and third, and then shortening will take place. Another example is this, yashim. As you can see, this is sim, and then what is this for? I think it's not a good example here. You will be confused. Let's look at this. Shub, you have memorized shub, and then yod, prefix pronoun, and then kamets is the expected vowel pointing. So now you can see that, oh, tsere under the prefix pronoun, and then kamets under the prefix noun, the idea still works. The tsere still has something to do with yod, and kamets have something to do with halo verb. So now, without losing this second consonant, is this still the expected vowel pointing with the verb conversive is kamet. But anyway, that's it. But the thing that you need to pay attention to this is this. This one shortened to kamet. Do you understand? But this one is not actually kamet, but it's kamet hatu. So there must be an accent. There must be an accent there, falling there. Do you remember? In order for the kamet to be kamet hatsu, it should satisfy two conditions. It should come in the syllable that is unaccented and then closed. So normally, the accent falls on the last syllable. So if the accent falls here, then this one must be kamet. Are you following me? But the accent is here, so it's coming under unaccented uh, syllable, and so it becomes kamehatu, and then closed syllable. Are you following me? So the pronunciation is baya sho. But anyway, it's not really important part. So if you have to choose the important things that you have to memorize, it's not the important one. But anyway, I'm trying to give you the explanation of what we have studied. So now the point is shurek becomes kamehatu. There's a shorten. This one is without verb conversive, and this one with verb conversive. So now you understand how it works. Is that clear? So now what I'm trying to say is shortening for the process of putting a prefix pronoun and verb conversive, then it works for that. Not only he feel, but also for constant. Let me move on. Now, we are getting into the tricky part. Okay, first gutturals means what? The verbs that have guttural letter in the beginning. Okay? First gutturals refer to the verbs that starts with a guttural letter plus third head verbs. Okay, if we have a verb, so first guttural and third head, then the last one should be he. Okay, and first guttural, we are going to have a guttural letter like ain or aleph, even including resh. Resh is not a guttural letter, but it tends to take the characteristic of guttural letter. So anyway, if you have those words, we call it double weak verb. Why? Because that we have two weak components. So we call them double weak verb. So dealing with this double weak verb in the prefix form, with or without verb conversive may look identical in the kal and the hifil stem. Praise the Lord for that. Now you don't understand why it is really hard, because you will know. Let's deal with this example. Now, I told you, okay, this is the form of la'a, and then asa, and then another asa. They are all double weak verb. Then what I'm saying is this. There is no difference between kal stem and hifil stem. Then how are you going to see the difference between kal stem and hifil stem? Now, I told you that if you have pata under the prefix pronoun, okay, then that is what? The indicator of the hifil stem, okay? But for the most of strong verbs, but if you have double weak verb, then it doesn't work. So if you have a double weak verb, then the pata can come for the for the kal stem. So now what we studied today doesn't work for double weak verb. Is that clear? So in terms of the general indicator of the hifil prefix form, then we do expect what? Pata under the prefix pronoun, but not for the double weak verb. Is that clear? Is it hard? One more time. Let's look at this. What is your analysis in terms of the stem? Then you will say, oh, Pastor, we studied this one today. We have pata under the prefix pronoun. Then it's most likely what? What? You say, oh, I know. After removing these non-root letters, 2, and we have 1, 2. So now this is the time for us to apply the idea of missing letter rule. So we have pata. So it's any vowel point other than tere and kamet, and it must be the third he verb. Hallelujah. It works. So that's how it works. So that's then kal stem and la prefix form. See, this one works even for the third he, especially together with first guttural. But I'm going to explain something here. But anyway, so this one can be kal stem and at the same time he feel too. So now let's summarize. Don't be confused. If we have to summarize the most important indicator of he feel prefix form, then what do you need to remember? Remember, pata under the prefix pronoun. And then see if you have 1 dot or 2 dots or 3 dots between the second and the third root letters, except na ending, 3 FPL and 2 FPL. Okay, that is the general rule. Okay, it will work most of the time. And most importantly, and this is very confusing part, if you are dealing with a double weak verb, then pata under the prefix pronoun must indicate the kal possibility and the hifil possibility. Why? There is no difference between them. They are identical. That is the summary of today's lesson. Is that clear? You can understand this, but you only need to exercise. Another example is this. This is asa without verb conversive. Okay? This one takes pata under the prefix pronoun. So you will say, oh, this one must be hifil stem. Yes, it can be a hifil stem, but it must not be the hifil stem all the time, because this is a double weak verb, and in this case, pata can come under the prefix pronoun even in the kal stem without verb conversive. Even with verb conversive, it's the same. Only the third he component disappears. Is it clear? So now that's the summary. Okay, your only clue to the correct stem in such a case is the context. And hifil tends to be transitive and takes objective. I told you, if you have a hifil stem, then it causes someone or something to do the specific action. So that's why it generally comes with definite DDO. Direct, what is it? Definite object marker, DDO, direct, definite direct object marker. Okay, so if you have at together with pata under the prefix pronoun, then think about the possibility of hifil. But you cannot say, oh, I have at the DDO, so it must be hifil. No, it doesn't work that way. But generally speaking, it will work. But anyway, the context is the most important key when it comes to double weak verb. So now, as I said before, if you are dealing with a middle guttural verb, if you are dealing with a verb of which second root letter is guttural, then I told you, you need to be careful with the stem. Why? Because what is it? The PL, the dagish forte cannot come. So if you are dealing with a verb of which second root letter is guttural, then you need to be careful with the stem to see if that is kal or pia, since you cannot see the dagesh. Like, it's the same. If you are dealing with double weak verb, then you are going to be careful with the stem again in terms of 칼 and 히필. Clear? Okay, then let's move on. If we have an example, then I'm going to remind you of this again. Look at this. First gotro. Now, we talk about double weak verb, and we are talking about first gotro. It's not double weak. Why? Because the first gotro doesn't come with the third he. So then what do we expect? We do expect this. There is a difference between them. So the form must be different. This one and this one. How do you think? Pata under the prefix form can come for 칼 and for 히필. So what is it? This is the 칼 stem and this is the 히필 stem for the same word. What can you see? Even pata under the prefix pronoun can be used in the 칼 stem if the verb is first gotro. So even this idea works for double weak verb because double weak verb starts with a gotro sound. So this idea still affects this double weak verb. But the thing is, when you have the third he, then third he tends to be dropped. That's the only difference between first gotro and double weak. But anyway, I'm trying to say pata under the prefix pronoun for the first gotro can be used not only for the 히필 stem, but for the 칼 stem as well. But the difference between them is the hirek yo. That's a secondary clue is important in this case. Are you following me? Okay. Then some of you may ask me this question. Oh, Pastor, then we have studied about shortening. If this form comes with verb conversive, we'll not see hirek yo because it will be shortened. Am I right? But 1, 2, 3 will be there. And this one will not come with 1, 2, 3. So that's going to be an important reminder. Okay, that's it. That's why I just told you today's lesson is much harder than yesterday's. But if I have to summarize today's lesson, then let's do this. Come on. People of God, look at me. Don't show me your face falling asleep. Sam, come on. Again. Samson. Come on. It's really important. Come on. Okay, let me just give you the summary. You are going to tell me, what have you studied? Tell me the most important indicator for 히필 of fixed form and prefix form.
Pata under the prefix.
Pronoun
The 1, 2,
Okay.
3.
Good job. All right. Pata under the prefix form. And then 1 or 2
2, 3.
or 3 dots between the second and the third.
Except na ending.
Except what?
Na ending.
Na ending. Exactly. Thank you for the clarification. That is 3 FPL and 2 FPL prefix form. But anyway, in terms of this 1, 2, 3, hirek-yod, I mean hirek-yod. Okay. Okay, generally speaking, pata under the prefix form indicates the 히필 stem, but not always. There is exception. There are exceptions, I have to say. It doesn't work for what kind of a verb? First gotro and double weak verb. Why? Because those weak verbs can come with pata under the prefix form even in the car stem. Is that clear? Is that clear? Okay, and that's it. That is the summary of today's lesson. So then let me deal with this. Adele,
Yes,
the
sir.
noise. Thank
Oh,
you.
sorry, I forgot. Okay,
Thank you, Adele.
bad music too. Not my type of music.
Let's just spend some time exercising. Okay. How do you think? Stem.
He feel.
Why?
But under the prefix.
Okay. And then?
And the dot is in the middle is assimilation and hireyok.
Hirekyod without verb conversive. So this aleph is
Prefix.
prefix pronoun. Good job. And then this dagesh indicates assimilation, referring to first nun verb. So the root letters nagat and hifil, prefix form. Good job. What about this? Come on, you can do it.
He feel.
Hifil, why? Still
The
pata under the prefix pronoun. Hirek, yod, with the verb conversive. That's the important thing. With verb conversive, you cannot see hirek, yod. Okay? So it's still working. Okay? That way. What about this?
He feel, I think.
Hifil, why?
The he in the front.
And then
Hey,
Hireyok.
hirek, yod. See? Then now,
Rekyod.
what form? Cannot be prefix. Why? Because you don't have prefix pronoun. That's why we have he. See, very easy. He indicates what? He works in what
Affix.
form?
Affix.
Yes, you are doing good job. Come on. Affix. But the first root letter nun is missing, and then assimilation is taking place. Okay, what about this?
Kal.
Kal.
Prefix.
Kal prefix and the missing letter rule. Sere indicates what? First yod
First yod.
verb. So this one
Yeah.
is yasha. So it's not kal. Now you are doing good job. Come on. Okay, so much excited about this. Let's do this.
He feel.
That's good, sir.
Yeah, someone said he feel. Why?
But under the prefix pronoun.
And then
And Sere under the kof.
yeah, one or
Under
two
the resh.
or three. So hirek or tere or sego. Okay. Why? Because of verb conversive. So shortening hirek yod is a shorten when it comes with verb conversive. It works that way. Is that clear? So this one is hifil, karab, and prefix form. Can you do this?
He feel.
Sorry, hifil, and
Yes.
then
Prefix.
prefix because of this. Don't be
Prefix.
confused.
One dot.
Okay.
Verb
this
conjunction.
One, yeah, verb conjunction. It's not verb conversive. That's it. That's it. And then what about PGN? 3M
PL.
So everything is there. What about this?
Kal.
Kal. Why? Because this one is coming together with
Comments.
comets and okay. If you have hello verb, hifil, and what are you going to have? Prefix form. We don't study about this. Just let's go to our verb chart. But are you wondering, dealing with this hello verb, and what specific indicator are we going to have for hello verb he feels them, prefix form? Then go to page
Comments.
441. Okay. Prefix form, you have Yakim there. What do we have? Yakim. This means the middle component, middle letter will disappear. Okay? In the Hebrew tense for hello verb. Unlike here, we have shurek. The middle letter is not missing in the kal. Are you following me? But the vowel point under the prefix pronoun is kamet. That's the same in the Hebrew or in the kal. Let me tell you this. Anyway, do not pay too much attention to this, but let me tell you this. If you have kamet under the prefix pronoun, not pata, okay? Pata is the Hebrew indicator, but even kamet can be the indicator of Hebrew stem, just for hello verb, okay? Then the question is, how are I going to see the difference between a ka stem and the Hebrew stem in the hello verbs? Are you following me? Then the middle letter is going to be the clue. So in the Hebrew stem, the hello verb will take hirek yod form. Is it clear? So but anyway, do not just think about it too much. Just here, this one is kal, and the prefix form shu. What about this? What is this?
Call.
Are you sure? Okay. Seems like preformative he coming together with the comments, and this is what we have studied this week.
That one's Cepheus?
히필.
Yes, preformative he. So must be he feels stem. But what form do we have? Comments for the hello verb indicates what? Imperative or
Imperative.
infinitive construct. Okay, so I know I understood this, but when they are coming as like this, then everything is mixed up and it takes time. That's why exercise is quite important. All right, do you understand? So preformative he, pata indicates imperative form or infinitive construct, but in case of hello verb, it will not come with pata, but with kamet. So you remember this? Okay. And Pierce asked me this question yesterday. Why is it comet? Then I told you this one is a hello verb. Okay. So let's move on. What about this? Let's just hitting the point. Don't be confused. Seeing these two, he feel. What about this? Pata, and then 1, 2, 3. 1. So this is the he feel. And then, right, first noon and 3 and PL. Are you following me? Let's move on. This one. Okay, this is the time. Comets under the prefix pronoun, but the difference between them, it's the same word, shu. But I explained, this one comes with the middle letter. The middle letter is not dropped. But this one, middle letter is dropped and then replaced by hirek yod. So if you see hirek yod, then it has something to do with what? The Hebrew stem. So this one is, they are all for hello verb. But this one is kamet, and this one is the Hebrew. Is that clear? Okay. But this is the core lesson of today's lesson. So just for information, in the car stem, hello verb can come with kamets, and then even in the Hebrew stem, hello verb can come with kamet under the prefix pronoun. But only the difference between Hebrew and the car stem is the second root letter. If you see 히읗, then that's 히필. Without 히읗, then it must be 카스템. That's it. And what about this? We studied this one yesterday. Preformative 해 together with 홀렘 indicates first yod verb 히필 form. Is that clear? Is this prefix or affix?
Affix.
Affix. Why? If you have a prefix form, then preformative 해 cannot remain. 해 will disappear. So it must be in affix form. And 타 ending is also helping us to recognize it as affix form. 아, 타, 트, 티. 우, 템, 템, 누. So 타 ending. Let's move on. 파타, 히렝욤. So must be 카랍, prefix form, 히프스탄. What about this? We have preformative 해. Okay, so it's not prefix form at all. And what kind of form can come with 파타 under the prefix pronoun? I mean, the preformative 해.
Imperative?
Imperative or infinitive construct. And then this is nagat, first nun verb, assimilation. What about this? We are almost done. Must be prefix form. But whatever form can be, okay, think about these three possibilities in terms of stem. 갈, 피엘, 히필. Cannot be
히필.
피엘 without 다게시 포르테. Cannot be 히필 without what?
Without a pata under the first.
파타 under the prefix pronoun. Good job, Albert. So must be 카 stem. Okay. What about this?
Cause.
Okay. So you may be wondering, even comets can come for 히필. I think we are going to deal with this later. Hello verb is another lesson. But anyway, without verb conversive, let's do this. Forget about it. I'm not going to highlight this. I think it's going to make you confused. Just remember today's lesson. Your assignment.
I think Elavaya already sent it online.
Oh, really? Let me double check. Yeah. Facebook Messenger. It said on page 164, 1, 2, 3, 8, 9. Have a blessed day, she said. Okay, so check it in your Facebook Messenger, and that's there your assignment. Do you have any question?
Thank you so much.
I just want to clarify from the previous table regarding the DDO hey as indicator. Even for tab, it is considered, it is also our indicator, sir.
Where? Which page?
On the table, sir. I'm
Table?
confused with the. Yes.
This
On
one?
our exercises. The last one, sir.
Yeah, huh?
Yeah. I noticed that the he instead of he, the other verbs are tab.
What word are you specifically talking about? Could you read it, the word?
Tashamai.
Ha shama. Where it is? Ha shama. Ha
Yeah, that
shama.
is tab, sir, or ha, he?
Are you talking about this one? This one? Ha shabeta?
No, sir. Prior to that, sir, there's also a the tab
Hashep?
preceding
Hashep?
the-
This one? Hashep? Okay,
okay,
number
sir,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
yeah, number 4,
7.
sir, and 5. Number 4 and 5, the first letter is tab.
This
right?
one, this one. Yeah, ta.
Yeah.
You're
I'm told,
asking me about this?
yeah, the ta as indicator, not he.
No, no, no. This tab is the indicator of prefix form. Prefix
Okay,
pronoun.
okay,
Yod, tap, aleph. Yod,
okay,
tap,
okay.
nun. Do you remember this?
Only for prefix.
Yeah, that's prefix. But
Only for prefix,
yeah,
sir.
prefix and then
Okay,
pata under the prefix form. So we cannot always
okay,
expect the yod come, right?
okay, sir.
But this
Thank you.
one, instead of yod, we have tap. Thank you. Thank you for the question.
Uh,
Anyone else?
Doctor, I have one question. In regards to the hollow verb, did you actually say that they are not, they are an exception in some form for the hitho? Did you say that they cannot take the hirekiot or something like that? I just can't remember about the hollow verb situation, the hollow verb.
Okay,
There was some,
do not pay attention too much to hello verb right now. I don't want to
okay,
really, create any confusion here. Here, hello verb
okay,
is quite different. But to tell you that the answer, that there is a difference between ka stem and hif stem. But in terms of the first vowel points, like we expect pata, but for hello verb we expect kamet. But kamet will come for
kamets.
kal and hifil for
Okay,
hello
okay.
verb. But what is the
Only.
secondary clue? Then that's what we need to deal with later. So do not pay too much attention to it today, okay? But
Thank
anyway,
you,
that's
sir.
good one.
Thank you. Thank.
Anyone else? Okay, God bless you. See you tomorrow, okay?
Thank you, sir. God bless.
Thank you, sir.
See the rest of you in New Testament. Ciao.
목사님,